talked about there is modern data technology. We're talking about modern data platform. It's better, it's faster, it's cheaper. So for you then, when you're looking at all these different cloud vendors, we were both at Big Data London a few weeks ago, and it's just huge. There's so many different vendors, so many different platforms, so many different tools and managed service providers. Where does, if you're a small business, maybe you employ, say small business, let's say you employ between 100 and 500 staff.
Yeah.
Where do you start? What do you do?
So that's a really good question. So for me, I think you start with how can we make our company more efficient. We're Snap Analytics, right? So our focus is on analytics, but actually, if you look at the other potential that exists in data, there's tools now like Microsoft Flow where you can automate your processes, and this is something we're doing internally. How can we automate our processes? Things like the expenses. You now take a photo of your receipt and it automatically goes into your accounting system. Previously, that whole process was a real headache, and we've both been victims of that. I'm sure you have as well. And so how can you simplify and automate those processes? How can you avoid those scenarios where you've got someone who's spending most of their time copying and pasting data between spreadsheets? Because I think probably all seen a lot of that in our time as well. So I think the sort of simple automation is a really good place to start. And obviously some of the self-service BI tools now are really accessible. You've got tools like Google's Data Studio, Power BI, which are really affordable for a smaller or mid-sized company, and actually you can do some really powerful things with those tools. So I would start by looking at those kind of tools which aren't going to cost the earth, not necessarily tools that would be suitable always for big enterprises, but actually for small businesses and medium-sized enterprises, they can deliver huge value for really reasonable cost.
So simple automation, keeping it simple.
So I think there's also a thing, right? So it's very easy just to focus on the technology side, and certainly Big Data London does that kind of thing where there's so many different vendors that are saying, look, our product's really cool, you should come and just use our product and all this stuff. But actually what you should really be looking for is, okay, what outcomes do we need to get out of this? So as Dave says, a small business probably start is the operational side. You're trying to get all your processes set up, you're trying to make things efficient, so you don't spend your time actually having to waste time on that. You can focus on building the business. But then there's also the kind of strategic side, so okay, what data do we need to actually help us drive our business, help us win more business? And then that's the kind of side where you start looking, okay, how do we actually track our data, how do we store it, how do we start reporting on it? And that will only increase as you kind of evolve in maturity. But you should focus on that side, and then once you've worked out what it is you want to deliver, then you can assess, I suppose, the vendors and work out, we could probably maybe Snowflake would be best for this, or Power BI for our reporting, that kind of stuff.
I was asked a similar question by a small business yesterday, actually. Where do we begin? It's it was a conversation around finance and KPIs and metrics. And I said, there are so many. Where do we start? And I think it's a really good point, Tom, around firstly start with what are you trying to achieve as a business? What are your objectives? If it's brand awareness, you might want to look at social media likes and shares. If it's you're all about the profit, then you can start to map your finance KPIs into those financial objectives. So our objective is to make £1 million in profit. How are we going to do it? How are we going to measure it? And what are the things that what is the data that can help to influence that? And you may come back to the more brand awareness we create. Actually, that also feeds into profitability, and you can start to track and measure that.